Now we're rolling. Damage Plan MMA podcast. I'm Jason. As always, my co-host. He's on this side this time.
Freaking weird. You screwed everything up.
little technical malfunctions before we started.
Jason screwed it all up, folks.
Screwed it all up. It's Friday. It's been a long week. But we got fights tonight, LFA, and we got UFC tomorrow night. So I'm happy.
LFA fights start in 3 hours from now.
Ooh, it's early card then tonight.
Yeah.
Why? Where are they fighting at?
I don't know.
Hey, wasn't LJ supposed to fight?
Yeah, I think that fell through though. Personal reasons.
You know what? This flyweight bout they have for the main event, it's gonna be a good fight.
Well, they have that Christian Navidad fighting again, and his older brother is a savage.
Oh yeah.
You know, right?
He's on there. But that Nate Smith, Victor Altamirano, it's gonna be a good fight.
Title fight.
Nate Smith lost to Jimmy Flick. He got caught.
Yeah.
What's funny, if you go look at their records, Nate Smith lost by triangle. Victor won by triangle in his last fight.
Huh.
Nate Smith's going to win that fight.
You think so?
Yep.
Interesting.
I watched tape on both of them. That Victor guy is really good. He's good on his feet. We're talking about LFA right now. We're not talking about UFC. He's slick on the ground, but he was getting controlled in his last fight. And that Nate Smith's wrestling is elite wrestling.
Look at how many amateur fights Nate Smith has. All the experience in the world.
Yeah, he just got caught in that Jimmy Flick fight. Like
he was beating Jimmy Flick until the third round too.
Yeah. And that Lloyd McKinney guy that Victor fought in his last fight, when he caught him in there, dude, the guy was dominating up until that point in the second round. He kept taking him down at will, which Nate Smith is going to do probably even worse than the other guy did.
Interesting.
It's just my take. Pick Nate Smith in the main event.
I like it.
So before we get into the card, what's your take on Leon Edwards and Bilal Muhammad? Good, bad?
I mean, it's a great fight.
I think it is too.
We're going to find out real quick if Leon Edwards is as legit as he says he is and deserves that number 3 next to his name. Because quite frankly, if I'm Leon Edwards, I feel like all the pressure's on him. Bilal Muhammad, great move, by the way.
Smart.
Great move. Because guess what?
Smart.
He has nothing to lose in that fight. He has nothing to lose and everything to gain in that fight. He's fighting out of weight class. He's fighting on short notice. He just fought. He's jumping from a 3-round fight to a 5-round fight. If he loses, who cares? Like, doesn't hurt him one iota. Doesn't hurt him at all. He wins that fight. His stock goes through the roof. And if somehow he stops Leon Edwards, like, he's going to springboard into the conversation of the dangerous 155ers. I mean, it's a great move by Bilal Muhammad. And the other thing is, I'm sorry, 170s. But it's a great move for Bilal Muhammad because to me he has nothing to lose here.
I was interested that Colby didn't take that fight.
Colby just signed his own death certificate, if you ask me. By not taking that fight.
Yeah.
He's going to get Gilbert. He's going to get Gilbert Burns now, or he's not fighting probably the rest of this year. And I don't know which one's worse. I don't know which one's worse, but I actually think Colby would have beat Leon Edwards.
I think he beats both, honestly, but I
think he beats Leon Edwards, and so I'm like, I think he should. You think Colby beats Gilbert?
Yeah, I think he beats Gilbert.
I think it's stylistically that is a really, really hard matchup for Covington.
I think it's similar to the Usman fight, really.
Exactly. So do I. But the difference is Usman carries a lot more power than Covington.
That's where I was going. Yeah, the power's not there, but he has the cardio to just pick him apart for 5 rounds, basically.
But dude, the way Gilbert throws caution to the wind and the haymakers that he throws and almost knocked Usman out with, that doesn't fly, dude. I think Gilbert beats Colby Covington. I really do.
what do you think we're going to see out of Edwards after this layoff coming in? He's fighting he's fighting a tough guy.
With everything that he's said and talked and title shot and this and that. Here's the other thing for Leon Edwards. If you beat Bilal Muhammad, does that guarantee you the next title shot? Guarantee you the next title shot.
I don't know if it guarantees it, but
no,
I think
no. The answer is no. It does not.
He beats Bilal Muhammad. Give him another fight in the fall, late summer. Let him fight Wonder Boy for a title shot.
Yeah,
maybe.
But he already turned down Wonder Boy. He don't want to fight Wonder Boy. Remember?
Yeah. Well, I think he wanted to stay on the March card for this one, and Wonder Boy wasn't going to be ready for this one. Last year, though, yeah, you're right. Yeah, right on last year.
But what I'm saying is, now he's put himself in a situation where he probably still has to win this and another fight
and another one
to guarantee a title shot. Now I'm not saying things couldn't fall his way and he couldn't kind of slide into a title shot. That's still possible. If he starches Bilal Muhammad, maybe, and get some buzz around him. But that's not what Leon Edwards does. He's going to, I think Leon Edwards, he wins by decision and everybody's still like, meh. That's like the famous line, Chael Sonnen, what he said was, Leon Edwards does everything right except be exciting.
Yeah.
His fights aren't exciting. He stays on the outside. He never puts himself in danger. He kind of just picks his opponents apart, outpoints them. It's great. I mean,
he does go for the finish when he needs to.
I don't think that's a totally fair narrative on Usman anymore, because I mean,
he knocks out Colby and he knocks out Burns. That's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah,
that's damn impressive.
He won one of the best welterweight fights I've ever seen. Probably the best welterweight title fight I've ever seen. Besides, not besides. I mean, I'm looking at Robbie Lawler and Rory McDonald, but
Rory McDonald was a good one.
I mean, you're talking about a top 3-5 fight ever at that weight class with Colby.
Yeah.
And Usman knocks him out, and then Usman knocks out Gilbert Burns. He dominates Jorge Masvidal and dominated Tyron Woodley. Like, he's 4 title fights and he's dominated and not finished all of them. Like, it's pretty hard to criticize. I could be a little critical of how he came up.
Yeah.
But I have a hard time being critical of, since he's been the champ. His performances have been nothing short of just dominant and incredible.
Am I alone in thinking that I'm not really excited about Usman and Masvidal again?
Well, it's because I mean,
does Masvidal have a chance? Even with a full camp, does he have a chance?
He has a chance. Not a great chance, but he has a chance.
I mean, I guess everybody has a chance.
This is what I'll say. You watch that first fight again. Usman did not look comfortable, and like, he did not want any part of the stand-up game and being in boxing range with Jorge Masvidal, right?
Yeah.
He body kicks, that boxing range. He didn't want any of that, right? And he just made it dirty and grinded out a win. I think on a full camp, Jorge can force more of those exchanges and have the gas tank to force more of those exchanges. But
flip that around though. Usman's going to be on a full camp too.
He was already on a full camp.
Yeah, but he wasn't fighting a stand-up fight. He wasn't supposed to be fighting the guy that just stands up and bangs. His whole game plan was. You know better than I would.
No, I don't. I just don't agree that it changed too much for. I don't think anything.
The game plan changed.
Not a ton, or the preparation for it, not a ton, because he was preparing for a powerful, explosive guy on the feet and a jiu-jitsu, master, right? Is Jorge big, powerful, explosive guy on the feet? Yeah, he is probably pretty explosive, right?
He's very explosive, yeah.
So that's where I'm saying but Jorge's a lot cleaner of a technical boxer than Gilbert Burns.
Yeah.
And the thing with Usman is he's like, he's sitting there going, I can just take away boxing by putting him up against the cage and clinching him. And he can go to his base with wrestling, which is pretty much ingrained into his DNA at this point. Yeah. So I don't really Burns or Usman. It was just, are you in good enough shape to go 5 rounds? And if the answer was yes, he was going to win that fight as long as he took away the boxing exchanges.
Yeah.
I feel like, and on this one where Masvidal's gas tank should be a lot better. I like Jorge to be able to push more of the exchanges into that boxing range and to give himself more of a chance. But I mean, I still don't give him more than like 20% chance.
I'm going to put you on the spot. You're Vegas. What's the odds for that fight? Usman.
If I want to make money or like legit odds,
you're laying out the lines for the public.
I'm probably putting
Usman? 3-1?
Usman at I'm probably putting him at like minus 220 to try and get as much action because money's going to come in on Jorge.
Oh yeah, he'll get money just because he's popular. Yeah.
You want Jorge to get as much money on him as possible, but I mean, I don't know, maybe 3-1, maybe minus 280 to 240 to 280, probably somewhere in there. And so you can get, plus 180 to 2-1 odds on Masvidal.
Did you hear Usman say he would entertain going up to 185, but not if Izzy's there?
Yeah, they're boys. He's not going to go up there and try and fight Izzy.
Yeah.
I think Usman Robert Whittaker is a really fun fight.
I actually really like that fight too. I don't know if Usman's big enough to fight there with some of those guys, but
yeah, absolutely.
That's a really good matchup. That's a really good matchup.
I think Usman cuts a lot of weight, and I think scary enough. I think somebody like Usman. I think people with elite skill levels, if they would compete closer to their own natural weight and not cut as much,
yeah,
you're going to get better performances out of him. I actually think his wrestling could be even more dominant at 185.
Phillips Martial Arts says, wish it was like the old days again, instead of taking away their striking BJJ, rather than challenging their skill and making a statement and doing the unthinkable. Yeah. I got it. I see. It's it's
risk reward.
You kind of see that with Blaydes saying.
I was just about to say
Blaydes is like, I don't care what you say. I get 100 to show and I get 100 to win. And I listen to that, and part of me is like, but if you win by knockout and you get the win bonus, then you can make even more money for your daughter. So why not try to go for the finish?
But that's the other thing with Blaydes. He stops dudes.
Yeah, he does.
He stops dudes.
Yeah, that's a perfect example, though.
We'll get into it, but Curtis Blaydes is a freaking yeah. We'll talk about Curtis Blaydes at length, I'm sure.
Should we start breaking this card down?
Well, let's start with the genius that missed weight by 12 and a half pounds.
I'm going to have a different take on that than I think everybody does.
I'd love to hear it.
So I'm probably going to get shit for this, but I don't care.
You are.
I just watched the video. I mean, when I first saw it and I read it and you text me, I'm like, this is disrespectful. This is bull crap. But something happened with that guy. Something happened in that guy's training camp. He knew he missed weight before he even stepped on the scale. He was crying. Like that guy was emotional.
Yep.
Something had to have happened. And I would like to know before everybody sits there and slams on this guy, because look, I watched the tape on the guy. The guy's explosive. He is a bigger guy. I'm going through my little notes here. Super aggressive, a lot of muscle, carries a lot of muscle, but something had to go wrong to miss weight by that much. Like, I would like to know the reason behind that before I sit here and slam this guy. And I get it. You're a professional. You should be ready. But listen, isn't this kind of how the society is nowadays? You make one mistake and everybody just slams you and just throw this guy, send him to Bellator. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Like, what happened?
So I have a question for you.
Yes. What
circumstance would be so bad that he didn't have to pull out of the fight?
Well, but that's right. That's where I think he messed up. I think exactly. Whatever happened.
But that's where
somebody should have, and he was probably
that's where the disrespect comes in.
Well, he was probably thinking, I can do my best to try to get up there and get on the scale and still make this fight, even though I couldn't. So there was obviously a disconnect there. But
dude, no. So here's the deal.
I think it was something.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think it had to have been something. I'm going to say personal life issues, stress. You don't usually see guys act that way when they get on the scale and miss weight. Most guys are just kind of like, I miss weight. I knew I missed weight. I don't really care. But I don't think this, just from his reaction and how upset he was, dude, for as embarrassing as it was and for as disrespectful as it was, I think he was feeling it. Okay.
That's fine. And that's fine that you feel that way. But you know what? I think part of you said, I've never seen anybody act that way. Have you ever seen anybody miss weight by 12 and a half pounds and know that, you know what? There's a good chance the UFC is going to cut you today.
Yeah.
Are you sure? Are you sure that those feelings aren't because he's like, well, my shot at the UFC is over?
I'm sure everyone should matter unless it's for a title fight. Should be on the dot. He should be on the dot. I'm not taking that away. Like I'm 100% in agreement. But I just think from his reaction, I would like to know a little bit more of the situation, because I don't think it's a matter of him just saying screw it. I want to be disrespectful and I just want to miss the weight and I don't really give a shit, because something tells me he cares.
Before he's vilified, I said I'd love to know the whole story if we can get it.
Yeah, doesn't make it right. Doesn't make what he did right.
But there has to be accountability. At some point, him and his team screwed up.
What 100%.
And that's not on anybody else but him. The fighters have to take accountability for this type of stuff. He knew at least a week ago that he was not within range to make.
But if he's that close, how much weight can you cut in a 2-day period? I've never had to cut weight like that. You have. He's probably thinking, hey, I could cut this.
He's
probably waited too long and was like, oh shit, maybe I can't cut this weight.
See, but I'm not buying that either, because they removed it off.
They removed it off
the Tapology. How many fights did that guy? Here, I have it.
He's got a few.
That guy is not a few. 28 professional fights.
That's what I mean. It's like
28 professional fights. So he knew days ago that he wasn't close and wasn't going to be able to do it.
Do you think, another thing, he's training out of MMA Master, so it's not like he's not at a good gym. That's what makes me think that there's more underlying things that we don't. Or he's just a professional. His coach is like, how's your weight? And he's like, it's good, man. How's your weight? It's good. It's okay. Okay. Well, and his coaches trusted him because he's had 28 fights. He is a bigger guy. He probably shouldn't have took that fight were they supposed to fight at 155 or 145? 145, right?
145. He weighed in at 157 and a half.
Well, he made it back in August for the Contender Series, but if you go back to 2019, 155. You go back to 2018, he did a catch weight at 161. He's a big guy. He probably shouldn't even be fighting 145.
Then again, that is on him fighting in the correct weight class, because he's trying to do too big of weight cuts to have an advantage.
I'm going back and looking at his Tapology.
It is 2021, dude. That crap don't fly no more. No.
7 years ago, he was fighting 145, but that he carries a lot of mass, man. He's a big dude.
He was huge.
Well, honestly, so is Pat Sabatini. He's a big guy too. They're both pretty. Maybe they should have had a connection, some kind of communications with the camp and been like, hey, let's just fight at 150 or 155. Because I bet both guys could have made it. I bet Sabatini would have been fine with that.
I don't know, but why? He made weight. He did his job.
But they're both bigger guys.
So I'm looking at that guy and he went, I'm not even close, and he didn't even try. That's my guess. My guess is he cut down and he goes, I'm not even close. I know I can't make another 12 pounds. He probably could have squeezed out another. Looking at him, he probably could have squeezed it out another 68 pounds, but I don't think he had another 12 and a half pounds.
No, he looked way lean. Yeah, something went wrong. I'd like to know what it is.
Regardless, I don't care what happened in his personal life. If it was that bad, dude, pull out of the fight due to personal reasons.
Yeah.
And here's the problem. And this is the underlying problem. UFC sucks. Now Pat Sabatini doesn't get paid, and he did everything he was supposed to do.
That sucks.
That's the problem.
Sucks. Does Dana still pay him, you think?
No, he doesn't. And he's not obligated to. That's where I have my issue with making weight.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Like it's not Dana. I mean, whatever. UFC loses fights all the time, especially this fight. This fight wasn't make or breaking this card. Like it might not be one of the top 5 fights on the night. Probably was going to be a good fight.
Actually, think it's going to be a really good fight.
But I'm just saying it might not be. Like that fight didn't make or break this card, but that fight might have made or break Pat Sabatini's to, his quarter, a fourth of his annual income. I don't know. Like, and he just lost that because this dude was irresponsible and didn't cut weight right or didn't notify people the correct way. Like, I'm sorry, there's no room for that in the elite of MMA. If that's at a Fierce or a LFA or whatever, that happens. That sucks. But
not at a professional level.
Not at UFC, dude. Yeah. Not at the UFC. We got people pulling out at FitCon over 0.4 pounds. Like, come on, 12 and a half.
Brandon, 150 is a huge. Not to you, Brandon. That's like they need 2 of those guys to equal one of you, Brandon.
How big's Brandon?
He's a big guy. He's probably what are you, Brandon? 230 probably. He's probably like 230. He's a big guy.
We're gonna go back to the Ryan Hall and your boy, the bodybuilder guy. You let one of those tiny guys get a hold of your legs, bro.
Hey, I did talk to Tanner. He said he'd be down to roll with LJ. He's like, I know.
So sick.
He's like, I know I'll get tapped out, but I don't care. I'll still do it.
Yeah, so sick.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, let's get into the rest of this card because it's fun, dude. Heavyweight City.
Yes. And the first fight on the prelims is Sergio Spivak and Jared Vanderohe.
Sergey.
Sergey.
Yeah. The polar bear.
The polar bear.
I love the polar bear. He's 2-2 in the UFC. Was undefeated coming into the UFC. 2-2 in the UFC. Lost to Walt Harris and Marcin Tybura. Not bad.
Not bad at all. Not bad at all.
Beat my guy Tai Tuivasa with the triangle choke. Broke my heart. I love Tai Tuivasa. And then beat up Carlos Felipe, who's kind of was on like a roll, kind of went on a little roll after that.
Yeah.
Then you got, Jared Vanderohe, who's on the Dana White Contender Series.
The Mountain.
Except he looks small in the face-offs next to Sergey.
He's lost a lot of weight. He's in shape.
Good for him. He won the Dana White Contender Series, right?
Yeah.
By being a lot bigger than the dude. I mean, the guy came in at pretty much the limit, 263 and a half.
Yeah.
He pretty much, the guy, I don't know did you watch that fight?
I watched that one, yeah.
Yeah, the guy goes for the Kimura on the cage, standing Kimura. I love Kimuras. Anybody that trains with me knows I love going for Kimuras. Standing just doesn't work out so well. He gets picked up and slammed, and now a humongous human being's on top of you. And he got pounded out because he couldn't get up.
That's kind of how I see this fight going.
Jared Vanderohe, this is UFC. We like the LFA guys. But you know what I don't? I don't like 0-3 LFA guys.
0-3 LFA. I think he's changed something with his nutrition though, because he looks a little trimmer than he did in his last fight. And
what did he weigh in at today?
Good question. Let me see here. 260 He weighed in at 265.
Yeah, see, he's huge.
He's bigger. Here I am. Oh no, that's Sergey. No, that's him. No, that's right.
No, that's him. So you know what? I like Sergey here. I actually think he wins handily.
But here's where these heavyweight fights, especially one like this, if Jared gets on top of him and can get him down, I don't see Sergey getting up. It's tough, man. I'm going with Sergey. Sergey's my pick.
Time out. Where's Sergey from?
Sergey is he's not Russian, is he?
He's from the Ukraine, which is pretty much Russian. So
close enough. We don't bet against the Russians. There you go. There's our pick.
No.
There's my pick.
He's for sure got Russian blood in him.
I'm going to stick with him. I was trying to find a little bit of value in Jared, and I just
That's okay.
Yeah, I'm always looking for some value here.
That's okay. There's value on this card. This just isn't it.
Yeah. Next up, we got Ayman Zahabi and Draco Rodriguez, which Draco missed weight too. I didn't see how much he missed. What? How much?
5.
No way. Was it that much?
Yeah, 150.
I was training when all that stuff was going on. Hey, by the way, dude, the combinations are getting pretty good.
That's what I've heard. I've heard you wanted to spar me, and we're going to fight.
I wouldn't go that far.
Time out. Phillips Martial Arts. Should we fine 1,000 to 5,000 every pound given to your opponent?
Hell yeah!
And start with an advantage point? No. So this is what I hate about the points in MMA. Right? It's like poke me in the eye. Oh, the guy took a point away. Yeah, but now I can't see, and he's going to knock me out in the next minute.
And I think you have to. How much of an advantage is that guy going to get? How much of an advantage is he going to get by being overweight? Because that means he didn't have to push himself to cut weight. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into that. But I guess if you miss weight and I still want to fight, I mean, maybe I should be compensated a little bit more to take that fight with you.
What is it? Is it like 20% of the purse or 30% of the purse?
I think it's 20. It should be more.
So yeah. So you ready for this? This is what it should be. You get half the purse, half, and then if they win, you get the entire win bonus. You get the win bonus no matter weight, no matter what. If you made weight and did your job, you get the guaranteed win bonus.
Start with a 10-8 round. You're already 10-8. You're down 10-8. I don't know. Oh man. Going back to Zahabi and Draco Rodriguez. Obviously, this fight's still going on then, right?
Yep.
That sucks because I really like Rodriguez, and now that's a little alarming that he missed weight.
It is. It is, and I
like him a lot.
I hate a lot of people missed weight on this card. I hate it. I still like Draco Rodriguez a lot. 13 amateur fights.
Yeah.
13-0 as an amateur. Very, very well-rounded. He's the type of guy that was made for this. He has been made, and this is a hiccup. It's too bad. The missing weight thing is a hiccup, and he needs to do whatever he can to correct it, because if this becomes a storyline, he's going to get forced to go to 155, and then things change different. Zabi is a good fighter, but he's only 1-2 in the UFC. And I think Draco should be an even bigger favorite than -195, to be honest.
I do too. I think
he's a monster, dude.
I think Zahabi's going to be a tough. I think he's going to be a tough out. He's very well rounded. These guys actually match up pretty well. 5'8", 68 inch reach for Zahabi, and 5'9" and 69.5. So Rodriguez is going to have a little bit of a height and reach advantage, but pretty much sixes on there. Right. I think Rodriguez gets it done too. In fact, I've already got him in one of my bets.
Cool.
Just so you know. Next up, we got Chaz Skelly and Jamal Emmers. Go through my notes here.
Both extremely impressive resumes. Their experience is almost equal, pretty much the same size. Emmers has given up an inch in height, but has a half-inch reach advantage. Chaz Skelly is just scrappy and durable, and is just like a backpack on the ground, dude.
Yeah.
Like he is all over you. While Jamal Emmers is just very active, high volume striker, and good everywhere, but he's just very active, never holds still. I think this fight can go one of two ways, obviously, but I don't know how you see this fight, but I have Chaz Kelly winning this fight because I think he has the experience to make this dirty and negate a lot of Jamal Emmers' skills and his athleticism by just smothering him and just like I went to the tape and I like Chaz Skelly on this.
You pointed out that's a good point. I actually am going to go the other way. I like Jamal Emmers. I think he's just a little bit better, a little more well-rounded. I like his striking. I like his kicks. But Chaz Kelly is one of those guys that's just a grinder. And just that fight when he fought Jordan Williams, I mean, he was banging. He can take some shots. He's smothering. I just think Jamal Emmers, I just think he's the overall better fighter. I don't like that Skelly's been off for over a year, almost a year and a half, which I don't know why.
I'm not trying to talk you out of it, but you got to remember when he beat Jordan Griffin, he was out for 11 months before he beat him and came and had a pretty good showing against Jordan Griffin too. Yeah. So obviously ring rust doesn't bother him. His only loss, Jason Knight, super, super tough guy, right? Bare knuckle boxer now, and super tough guy. Darren Elkins, super tough, durable guy. And Mirsad Bektik, super tough guy. Those are his only 3 losses.
Darren Elkins and Chaz Skelly, they're kind of similar. A little bit.
Very similar.
Just gritty, just grindy, just get in there and straight.
The only people that beat him are the ones that can do what he does better than him. He's gonna make it. He's gonna make it a dirty fight. Can you embrace the dirty fight and be better at it than he can? I do not believe so. I think great value, almost 2-to-1 odds here.
You could be onto something, but I'm gonna stick with my pick.
Stick with your pick.
I do. I'd
call you a pussy if you didn't.
I'll tell you what I really like. He lost a split decision last year to our boy Gigi Chikadze.
Yeah, I know.
That's a tough fight.
But they're similar, right? And they engaged in that kind of like fighting and range kickboxing fight, right?
I may have to be a little humbled come Monday because you could be onto something with him making a dirty fight.
For all I know too, you know, Emmers could throw a head kick and knock him out in like 30 seconds too. Who knows?
We're gonna find out. We'll find out. Anyways, we're opposite on that one.
I just want to previous all this by saying we're not. Well, okay, I'm not pretending to be a fortune teller here. Jason has his stupid hat. Jason's a stupid hat. But no, but anything can happen. I would like to say this too, and I fully believe this when you're discussing who's going to win and lose fights. There's a good chance we're both right. We'll see.
You never know. I mean, we're trying to take as much data as we can put together. We both watch the fights separately, just so everybody listening, or there's only one person listening right now.
Unless I have to FaceTime you in.
We don't talk to each other. We do our own research.
Yep.
And then we talk about it when we come on the podcast. And a lot of times, I would say probably 90% of the time, we take the same notes.
We had the same underdogs last week.
We say the same things. We have the same underdogs. You know, sometimes you might have a feeling on a guy. Sometimes I have a feeling on a guy, and we just kind of roll with it. I just end up winning more when I have a feeling.
Yeah.
Next up, Shawna Dobson and Casey O'Neill. I think I know who you're going to pick.
I don't think you do.
I think I do.
Okay, go first. Go first, Mr. Laporte, and then I want to hear your prediction.
Here's what I like. Casey O'Neill, she's the young up-and-comer, 23 years old, 5'6", she's 5'6". Shawna Dobson, 31 years old, 5'6", 69-inch reach. It's kind of the young up-and-comer against the vet. And if I'm not mistaken, Shawna Dobson, she's 4-4 in her career, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's had some tough fights. This girl's fought some tough competition since she's been in the UFC.
Yep.
She just pulls off the biggest upset of 2020, beating Mariah Agapova, who was like a freaking minus 9-1 favorite. And Shawna Dobson
beat her up.
I think she has a little bit of chip on her shoulder where people are kind of overlooking her. She's older. She's more experienced. She's training that Elevation Fight team, which we know is one of the top teams right now. They're rolling. They're on fire. Their fighters are coming in. They're putting on good performances. Here's one thing that stands out to me. She's never won back-to-back fights, Shawna Dobson. Casey O'Neill trains at Tiger Muay Thai, which I don't think she trained there for this fight, and I didn't write down where she's training at, but she does have that lineage, that Tiger Muay Thai lineage. I'm gonna go Shawna Dobson on this, man. I think the experience, I think that tough, grindy, just in your face, she has a chip on her shoulder. I think she gets it done.
So before I give you my breakdown, and just so there's no cheating involved, I have my notes right here.
Okay.
Who do you think I'm going to pick?
Shawna Dobson.
Okay. So very interesting. So Shawna is 4-4. She's strong. She's durable, but literally does nothing special.
Yeah.
She's not fast. She's not not great jiu-jitsu, not great wrestling, not great hands. Not like she's just, Casey O'Neill, 5-0. I can only see one of her fights on Fight Pass. Long snapping punches. Actually, who she kind of reminded me of? She kind of reminded me a little bit of Caitlin Neal when I was watching her fight. She uses her long and her reach and stuff really well. She was very good on the ground, competent on the ground, but it's really hard to gauge how good she is based off the competition level she's fought.
And here's another thing. Don't you find it interesting that she's making her UFC debut at 5-0?
Well, that means the UFC.
Like the UFC sees something there, so that
sure, and
kind of made me think a little bit twice. But
here's the deal. She's 5-0, right? But she's not just she finished a girl. She has a couple finishes. She dominates. She's dominated all 5 of her fights. Like they weren't even close. She beat a girl in her debut. She beat a girl, some good amateur fights too. She has a decent amateur career, which I always like to see. But beat a pro as her debut that was 1-1. When she was 1-0, beat an 0-0. When she was 2-0, beat a 2-0. When she was 3-0, beat a 5-1. 4-0, beat a 6-3. What up, Kendrick? Big Wolf.
Kendrick, the big bad wolf. Kendrick throwing.
We're gonna talk about his. We're gonna talk about his fight in a little bit too.
Can't wait to have. Look at who she's fought though in her amateurs.
I know.
0-0, 0-0, 0-0, 0-1, 0-0, 2-0, 0-2.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's hard to tell how legit she is based off of who she's fought. I'm just going to throw this out there. No disrespect, but I don't know how deep the women's MMA pool is in Australia. Like, I just don't think it's that deep. It's not even that great here. It's just not that deep yet. Like, we're getting there.
She trained. Gosh, I wish I would.
This is the perfect opponent because we're going to know within the first probably 30 to 45 seconds if she belongs in the UFC or if not.
We're going to know really quick.
So you know what I put down?
What did you put down?
I just don't know on this one. I don't know.
I'm going with the girl that has a chip on her shoulder that's feeling a little disrespectful.
So if I don't know, I'm going to take the underdog, which is Shawna Dobson.
Great minds think alike. That's all I'm going to say.
I mean, but I don't know if we got there differently. Like the chip on the shoulder, like that's great. But like you said, like, you know when the good times for her to get a chip on her shoulder should have been? How about after you lost to Roxanne Modafferi in The Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah.
Good. Got your chip on your shoulder against Ariel Beck. Looked great. Then lost 3 fights in a row.
Hey, we could be totally off, and this Casey O'Neill could just be a badass.
I think she is. I actually think that she is. Like, I think she looks good. I just don't know if she has enough experience yet to handle somebody that's a UFC fighter that's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 UFC fights.
Plus.
I mean, you gotta remember, dude. You're saying she's only 5-0 in the UFC. Shawna Dobson officially was only 2-1 when she entered the UFC octagon.
Yeah.
It's just not that deep yet.
Yeah. I don't know.
Rachel Ostovich is in the UFC. What was in the UFC till not too long ago? Like, come on.
But come on, we know why she was in the UFC.
Come on. Okay, we spent way too much time.
I don't know if I'm going to bet that fight, but I'm picking.
You better not.
I'm picking Shawna Dobson. My money's not going to be on the line though. Next up, we got our boy, Juicy J, Julian Rosa, and Nate Landwehr.
Juicy J, lock it up. He's going to come on the podcast next week to talk about his big win. That's where I'm going to this. There's levels to this game, folks. Levels. Julian Rosa, Juicy J, is 24-8. He's got more than double the fights than this dork Nate Landwehr has. I don't like Nate Landwehr at all. His in-cage demeanor was one of the most annoying things I've ever seen against Darren Elkins. You would have thought that he was destroying Derek Elkins. I mean, Derek Elkins, he might as well be another Diaz brother. You sneeze on him too hard, he starts bleeding. And Elkins was bleeding, but guess what? I couldn't put him away. Could he? Nope. Oh, and
is that your bet, Julian Rosa?
Yeah, dude. Bet. Not only is that my bet, That's my best value of the night. They are a dead even. Each are minus 110. Like that's a coin flip. Vegas has this as a coin flip fight. And I think I think he is levels better. He's better on the feet. He's better on the ground. He has cardio for days. Unless something goes terribly wrong, like him getting clipped early that causes something, I think Julian could finish him and or just grind out an easy unanimous decision.
Do you want to know my pick?
Yeah, of course.
I'm going to pick Julian and Rosa to win the fight, but that's not my bet. My bet on this fight is the over 2.5.
You think it goes to a decision?
I think it goes to a decision, and I'm going to tell you why. Yeah, I watched a little video clip, and I'm got to give a shout out to James Krause on this because the guy, I watched his breakdown and some of his best bets.
You meant James Lynch.
No, James Krause. He does the
really?
with Brett Okamoto. He does a
that's
prop
right.
bet thing.
Yeah.
So he mentioned something super interesting. 55% of featherweight fights, the 145 featherweight, right? 145. Did I say that right?
Yep.
55% of their fights go the distance. I'm taking the odds. I'm taking this fight to go to over 2.5. I've already locked it in. And if I'm not mistaken, the odds are, let me pull it up. Over 2.5 is minus 105. Really? I'm taking the odds on that. I've already locked it in.
I like that.
Threw it on there. Thank you, James Krause, for throwing that in. They have a great show.
I love
lots of good little gems on there. So
if Nate Landwehr starts barking at Julian Erosa the way he did at Darian Elkins, I will give Julian Erosa $100 out of my own pocket if he knocks him out.
Did you tell him that? Did you message him and tell him that?
No, but you can record this and tag him in it.
I will.
We'll make it a TikTok.
We're gonna make it a TikTok, and we'll tag him in it.
I cannot stand Nate Landwehr.
Yeah, I think it's an even fight though. It really is. I'm not gonna sleep on Nate Landwehr.
I don't think it's that even. I think Landwehr is a volume guy that's an in-your-face pressure guy, and he breaks people with his pressure, and that's all that he does exceptional. Julian Erosa does not get tired, one. And two, I'm sorry, Nate Landwehr is not giving Julian Erosa something that he hasn't seen before. I mean, Sean Woodson, our guy, comes through, big underdog, wins. You know, beats a guy like AJ Bryant, who I believe was on the Contender Series, right? I mean, you get rid of his 3-fight skid, Dana White Contender Series, beat Jamal Emmers, who was earlier on the card, right?
Yep.
He's been in there. Julian Erosa he's been in there with a lot of guys and a lot of really, really good guys that are a lot better than this guy and beat them.
Well, hey, I'm on it. I like it.
Juicy J's 31 years old. He's 31 years old and he's only got he's got 32 fights. I mean, this guy's going to end up with over 40, 50 professional fights when he's all said and done.
Yeah.
He's like the last age of like that type of like fighting as much as you can. Like, I can't speak highly enough. I love that he's an alum on the show, but even if he wasn't and he ghosted us like all the others that have, Gilbert Burns, the karma dude. But I'm all in on Julian Erosa. I love that. I love watching that dude fight.
Julian Erosa, you heard it. All right, next up we got we're still in the prelims. Holy crap. Eddie Weinman and John Castaneda. What do you like? What do you got?
Well, we got two guys here, right? Johnny Castaneda, Dana White Contender Series vet. Won his fight, but didn't get a contract. Came in. They're both 1-3 in their last fights. Unfortunately for Eddie Weinman, for the people not paying attention to who he is in his body, his work right now, he's most well known for what? He was on the wrong side of probably one of the top 3 knockouts of the year last year by the Sugar Show. But I would say most fighters that affects them, right? And that hurts their confidence and that whatever. He's been around way too long to have that hurt his confidence or shadow shattered confidence. This is a guy that's been around the game for a long time, and he has fought some big names that probably Sean O'Malley will never get up to. And this guy really only loses to absolute studs. Here, I mean, bunch of wins, okay? So rips off 4 wins in a row, loses to Uriah Faber and then Joe Benavidez. Not bad company it'll be losing to. Picks up another couple wins, loses to Henan Barao. Champion, not a bad guy to lose to. Picks up another win, loses to Brian Caraway, John Eduardo, John Dobson, Alejandro Perez, who we now know is a monster, right?
Yes.
And Sean O'Malley. Like, the only guys that he loses to are absolute murderers. Is John Castaneda an absolute murderer? I don't see it, man. I got Eddie Wayland as another pretty good valued guy on a coin flip fight.
You know who's undefeated in the cage?
Father Time.
Father Time. I'm going opposite. I'm going John Castaneda. I was super impressed with that Nathaniel Wood fight that he lost. I was impressed with him, man. I think he's the younger fighter. I do think it's a coin flip. I'm definitely not putting money on this fight, but I like Castaneda to edge this one out. I think Weinman's. Look, it's going to be a great fight. He's not going anywhere. He's going to be in his face, but I just think he lost a step, and I could be wrong. Castaneda could get starched, but.
I don't think he gets starched. I think Weinland could like out wrestle him and just kind of make it dirty and grind out a decision victory. That's actually what I like the most on this. I think it's a decision.
I do. I like that too. What's the prop on the decision on that?
I don't know.
I'm going to tell you right now. Fight goes to
man.
its decision, -165.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
I like that too. I like it a lot. In fact, I'm going to write that down as my note.
Lock that up.
Fight goes to decision. Because Castaneda's tough. That fight with Wood was, and we already know Weidman's a stud.
They're both tough. That's
and
the thing. They're tough.
I don't think Castaneda's not going to knock him out, and I don't think Weidman's going to knock Castaneda out because he bangs. Fight goes the distance. That's our bet. I like it. All right, next up. Dude, can you believe we're still on the prelims? What a
It's because we spent forever talking about Casey O'Neill and Shawna Dobson.
This should be a good.
Nobody breaks down women's MMA like we do.
Hey, we're here. Equality on the Damage Plan MMA podcast.
Oh, don't get me started.
Oh man, all those. Oh man, we're not going there.
No,
keep breaking down. We're not going there. We're not going there. Jakar Close and Luis Pena, Violent Bob Ross, stepping in on short notice. He looked great in the weigh-ins.
He looked what?
He looked good on the weigh-ins.
So, I think I've talked about him before on this podcast. Jakar Close, by the way, he's a monster. Good fighter. Really good fighter.
What's up, Dutch?
Oh, Dutch would know. See, Dutch knows. He's been around the game long enough. He knows Eddie Weiland. Let's go. But Jakar Close, he's no joke. Like he's a monster, and he lost to Beneil Dariush. Guess what? So does everybody. David Timur, tough. Holds good wins over guys like Bobby Green, Lando Veneta, Mark DeGacy. I like him a lot, and I think he's on a good trajectory. But for the young stud that's 11-2, I think this is the first time he's going to have to overlearn how to come off back-to-back losses, because there is something for me with the Violent Bob Ross, who I just love that nickname first and foremost. But he's 6'3" at 155 pounds, which just
crazy
looks so crazy, right?
Crazy.
The optics are nuts, but he is so smooth. And in my eyes, he has one legitimate loss, and that was to Kamara Worthy in that guillotine choke.
Yeah, he got caught.
That Matt Favola split decision, bad decision. Love the steamroller Favola, bad decision. I thought Luis Pena won that fight. His loss to Mike Trezano, another bad judge's decision. I think that two of his losses were on the judges and not his fault. I felt like he won both of those fights. I think Luis Pena is special. And when I say special, I think one day he will be contending for in the lightweight title picture. He's only 8-3 right now. He is 27 years old, and I think over the next 4 or 5 years, he is going to be one of those guys, could be even very Charles Oliveira like. He's special. He's good everywhere. And he's not just good, he has some elite skills and abilities on the feet, partially because of his length, 6'3", and being that tall at that weight. But he has a confidence. They talk about it sometimes, that it factor. And I feel like he just has it. You know, he lost as an amateur, so we've seen him lose and come back and win. And then he loses again, and then he wins. And like I like that in a young fighter. He overcomes adversity the right way. And again, he's an underdog, and I understand it because close is no joke. But Pena at plus 150, I feel like I'm getting tons of value here because I feel like this is another fight where Pena should be a slight underdog from what I've seen. Take away like the results of bad judges' decisions. Pena should be 10-1 versus an 11-2 guy, not 8-3. I like Pena here. I do.
Mic drop.
Oh, it froze. What? Is it me or you that froze?
I'm good.
Oh no.
Am I froze? Can you hear me? You can't hear me? Hang on.
Oh, there we go. Oh,
can you see me now?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Sorry, I had to click. My audio was hooked up to my Beats again instead of my mic, so you could probably hear me clearer now.
Okay, yeah.
Because my mic. Sorry, guys. Mic drop. You're all over Pena. Value-wise, I totally agree with you. I think Pena is a good value at this plus 150 as the underdog. I'm not going to bet it. I think Close grinds it out with his wrestling. I think he gets it done.
Dude, Pena is so slick on the ground. If Close thinks he's going to grind out wrestling, you watch. Because you know how we always say, like, you know, good dominant wrestling can negate like good jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That's true, except when your opponent has daddy long leg limbs that
That's
can
true.
wrap around everything.
Yeah.
It's his length is just such you can't prepare for it.
I kind of like that we're opposite on a lot of these.
You cannot prepare for his body style. Luis Pena's body style. There's not a guy in Close's camp that can simulate a guy his size with that length.
No,
there's
no
not
way.
one.
Well,
it's just going to be an advantage, and you shouldn't, but it's just going to be advantage for Luis Pena his entire career.
Good breakdown. I like that, though. I really like that.
Thank you.
Next up, our last fight on the prelims, Jared Gordon and Danny Chavez. I got to get my notes.
Jared Flash Gordon missing weight, another one.
He missed. How much did he miss by?
A few pounds.
All right.
Not good. Not a good look. And then they were jawing at each other in the face-offs a little bit, kind of like that.
Ooh. What? Who do you like in this one? How do you see this one going down?
You know, I like, you know, Danny Chavez. He's 1-0 in the UFC, and man, he looked at the weigh-ins and everything super confident, and you gotta love that. He's 11-3. But when I look at Jared Flash Gordon, even though he has less fights at 11-3, he's been in the UFC since 2017.
He has.
And he's had some ups and downs, but some of those, I mean, two of his 3 losses in the UFC, Diego Ferreira, monster. Charles Oliveira, monster. He's pretty good, guys.
So you like Jared Gordon?
You know, beat Bill Algeo before they were in the UFC. I like Jared Flash Gordon. Extensive, pretty good amateur career. I like Jared Flash Gordon. I love that he trains with Paul Felder, and that's his guy. I like Jared. I like Jared Flash Gordon, even though he missed weight. I think he wins this fight. I think it's a close fight. Another coin flip. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but that is three underdogs in a row that I'm on. Four
Isn't it crazy?
Five.
Look at
5 underdogs in a row.
If you look at the odds on these fights, if you go to and check these fights on bestfightsodds.com, over half these fights on this cards are coin flip fights. Like
They literally could go either way. This is another one. I could see this fight going either way. I like Danny.
Absolutely.
I like Danny Chavez on this fight.
I like that we're disagreeing on so many.
I like it. I really do like it too. But it's one of those fights that I think any fight that we've disagreed on, it's usually a fight where the odds are this close that you literally could go either way.
Sure. Did you watch the UFC's ESPN Plus series on Fight Island?
No.
Oh,
I don't think I finished it. I think I watched like half of it. Yeah, I think I watched half of it. I didn't finish it.
One of the features was Jared Flash Gordon on there and him going over there and picking up a win as an underdog on that.
I remember that.
Maybe that's biasing me a little bit because I like him a little bit more. But they talk about him. I believe it was overcoming like drug addiction and stuff now. And now he has a kid with his girlfriend and he's on this right track. And like if you look at it, he's his three losses in the UFC, but 2 of them are to top 10 guys.
Yeah.
And potentially Charles Oliveira, who might be the next 155 champ to reign supreme, very well could be. Like, man, like, dude, he might be on his way to being a top 15 fighter in this division as well.
You could be right.
He just needs the right string of opponents to get put in front of him. So, anyways, love this fight.
Opposite on this one.
By the way,
Another good fight.
Love this fight. It's going to be great.
Next up, we're finally on the main card. We have Andre Arlovski and Tom Aspinall. Ooh, this would be interesting. I'm interested to hear your take on this one, Mr. Patridge.
Well, I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Is Tom Aspinall special?
I think he is. I really do. I've been impressed with him.
What's special about him?
He's big. He's quick. He's fast.
Yep.
I mean, the guy's 6'5" with a 78-inch reach. Like he's a big heavyweight. He's young, 27 years old.
Got attributes.
Let's see. He was 5-0 in the amateurs. He's got some submission wins too in there too. He's got a heel hook win early on. He's got 2 heel hook wins.
Mm-hmm.
He lost to a heel hook, and then he lost with an illegal 12-6 elbow back in 2016. Other than that, knockout, injury, knockout. Like,
so my only hesitation on going all in on Aspinall, my only hesitation is they fed him 2 bums for his first 2 UFC fights.
I agree with that.
Okay, I shouldn't say bums, but Jake Collier was a former 185er that tipped the scales at 265. That was ridiculous. That might be the worst matchmaking the UFC's ever done. Ever. That was like a bet the house on a first round knockout. Bet it.
Yeah.
And then the Alan Bowdoot or whatever, that was a horrible one as well. We watched some film on him and we were like, what is happening here? Like, Tom's going to just destroy him. And he did. And now Tom is getting thrown in there with, I mean, we say this still, but former UFC heavyweight champion, Andre Arlovski, because no matter, I don't care how long ago it was, the fact of the matter is he used to be the former heavyweight champion of the world in the UFC forever.
100%. Yeah.
Forever ago.
And he just beat Tanner Bowser, who was another up-and-coming heavyweight. But
So here's my question. Who do you like better, Tanner Bowser or Tom Aspinall?
I like Aspinall better.
Okay, then I think you feel comfortable enough to say, go ahead. That makes me feel comfortable to say, I think Aspinall wins. I really do. And I think it is too. I've been trying to look for ways to pick Arlovski here. But the fact of the matter is, since 2016, Arlovski lost to Stipe in 2016, lost 5 fights in a row, then beat Junior Albini, the guy that wears the diaper-looking thing, and then Steven Struve, who just retired. Shout out Steven Struve, great career. Then he lost to Tai Tuivasa, where I actually thought he beat Tai Tuivasa that fight. And I love Ty, but I actually felt like he did deserve the win. But then he lost a couple. He lost 4 in a row or 3 in a row with no contest. Beat Ben Rothwell coming off of his suspension, but then lost to Rosenstruck, got knocked out brutally, and now he's on a 2-fight win streak again. He has not put together a winning streak since his 2013 to 2015 run that looked like his last run. He's tough, he's durable, but I think this could be the first time Tom Aspinall's been tested, though, and we'll see how he does in the second and third round with a guy that's just not afraid of him, because that's the biggest thing is Andre Arlovski is not afraid of him, and I can guarantee you that.
No, definitely not afraid of him.
I mean, he's been in there with Fedor. He's been in there with everybody. He's not afraid of Tom Aspinall, but that also doesn't mean that Tom Aspinall might not just put his lights out, because he literally puts everybody's lights out in the first round. If you would like to look, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 wins as a pro, all in the first round. Guy's a monster. Tom Aspinall, minus 255. Lock it up. Probably by KO.
That's my bet, by KO. I'm going to take the even money and say that he wins by KO or a TKO.
I think Arlovski will be in his face, and it might take
might let's search second round. I don't see a first round. I'd be real surprised if he knocks out Arlovski in the first round.
See, I actually think it's in the first round. I think if he doesn't get it done in the first round, I think Arlovski, you see this a lot. These guys that are KO artists that put people away in the first round, once they get out of the first round, they doubt themselves. They're like, man, he took all my best shots. Like, how do I get him out of here? And then they start ditching their game plan and like panicking a little bit. Yep. And then that's where these veterans steal some of these fights. Like, that's the scare. If you're ready for this, I think it's Aspinall by a knockout in the first round. And if you can't get him out of there, I think Arlovski could win this by decision.
Interesting. We're going to see. We're both on Aspinall. We both like it.
50th pro fight. It is as a freaking heavyweight.
It's crazy. Crazy.
And he has no plans on retiring anytime soon. He says age is just a number. How can you not love Andre Arlovski? I've seen him fight.
Love him.
In person. I watched him fight Steven Struve in person. It was freaking awesome.
Next up, we got Nasser Imov and Phil Haws. Megatron. How do you see this fight playing out? Another coin flip fight, man.
Coin flip. This is a rescheduled fight. They were supposed to fight last month. Didn't happen. Go back, watch our breakdown of it last month. I picked Phil Haws then. I'm picking him now. I'm picking against the Russian. The Russian can wrestle, but so can Phil Haws, as we've heard from our friend Cole Shafer, who wrestled with him at Iowa State. I like Phil Haws. He obviously carries power in his hands, obviously.
Yes.
Puts people out. And I think when somebody like Phil Haws can carry the type of power in his hands that he has shown in the Contender Series and his UFC debut, and he punches everybody, you mix that with his wrestling pedigree, he's a problem. And he's a problem. He's kind of the kryptonite for stud Russian wrestlers. He can wrestle himself, and he has hands. So I'm picking Phil Haws.
Interesting. So initially I was all over Imov.
Of course you were.
And then I started watching the tape, and he was getting clipped in that Jordan Williams fight.
He was. I remember that.
He was getting clipped. He got dropped twice in that fight. I'm with you. Phil Haws gets it done, man. He's just too strong. He's going to be too fast. I think the UFC's kind of, I shouldn't say this because I just cried about this the other day about people getting fed easy fights in the UFC. It's like, look, if you're fighting in the UFC,
this isn't a pro fight for both of them.
Your pro fights, Phil Haws is going to be ready. I've been impressed with him, and the guy's got hands, man. He can throw.
Are you trying to suggest that they're giving him an easy fight with a Russian?
No. I'm talking about before the fight he had before with Robert Whitaker's training partner. It's like, come on, what is this guy doing in here? And he freaking cleans his clock. Come on.
Hey, me and you both made money on that. Quit complaining. Let him keep doing it.
Yeah. Imov, though, I mean, I could see him winning too, but I just wasn't that impressed with the way he was getting hit in that Jordan Williams fight. You can't take those shots with Phil Haws, and that's going to be his downfall, and he's going to get knocked out. So that's my pick.
Okay.
Phil Haws by KO.
Okay.
Man, we still holy crap, we're still going. We've been going over an hour. We still have 4 more fights to go. Arlovski, Olenek, and Chris Daukaus.
I have another question for you. Do you think Chris Daukaus is special?
I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
You want me to answer that for you?
Yeah, what do you think?
No, he's not. No, he's not. I think Alexei Olenek beats him. You ready? I think he submits him. This is what Alexei Olenek does. How many of these young lions have they fed to Alexei Olenek, and he takes them down, grinds out wins?
My only drawback on this one is Olenek's not a young buck anymore. He's 43 years old.
Not as 43, bro. This is his 75th pro fight.
I know, it's crazy. It is crazy. And he should have won that Derek Lewis fight too, which would put him on a 3-fight win streak.
He had Derek Lewis in that scarfold choke, and Derek Lewis was just too freaking big that he couldn't finish it.
It's crazy.
Which is crazy. But look, once he gets into the UFC, right? He went 1-1 in his first 2, but then Ezekiel choke. And then he beats Travis Brown via neck crank. If anybody doesn't know what that is, come to my gym sometime. I'll show you.
Sucks.
Right? Lost to Curtis Blaydes, doctor stoppage from elbows.
What is he?
Junior Albini. Ezekiel choke from the bottom. Get out of here. Like, that's one of the craziest finishes ever. Mark Hunt chokes out Mark Hunt. Then, so like Olenek, right? Then he loses to Alistair and loses to Walt Harris. So he kind of loses to the elite guys.
Yeah.
But these young up-and-comers, he beats them. And when you say there's levels to this,
yeah,
he is a master Russian grappler.
So Olenek by submission plus 235.
And by the way, I'll say this against the Fabricio Verdum, his striking looks better than it ever has. He is still in the gym putting in work and getting better at 43 years old. I really like him at plus 65. I really do.
I think a good underdog pick. I even like him by submission at plus 235 because if he's going to win, I think it's by submission. I don't think he knocks him out, and I don't think he wins a decision. I think if it goes to a decision, Daukaus gets it done. That means he's done enough to stay off the ground and keep Olenek off of him. If I'm a betting man, which I am, I like Olenek by submission.
His nickname's the Boa Constrictor. He's choking this dude out. You heard it here.
Next up, we got Charles Rosa and Derek Minner.
Great fight.
Great fight.
Great fight.
How do you see this fight playing out? Where's my...
Ready? You ready for this?
Yep. What's the odds on this one? It's another coin flip fight. Holy crap.
You know what this means?
What's that? There's levels to this?
There are levels to this. And the guy that's got 36 fights is going to beat the guy that has 17. I like Charles Rosa. I really like Charles Rosa. He's a good young up-and-cutting fighter. But he talked all that good smack on Bryce Mitchell, and he got ragdolled. Right?
He did get ragdolled by Bryce Mitchell.
And I just, and he lost to Shane Burgos. He lost to Yair Rodriguez. Not bad losses. Lost to Dennis Seaver. Like Charles Rosa has been in the UFC since 2014, but only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fights since 2014. That's weird, man. He's just not active enough for my liking. He takes a lot of time off.
Taking the underdog? You're taking the underdog?
I like the underdog, Derek Minner.
Zack likes the underdog.
He's been in there. Hey, I have a question. If I told you that somebody has a win over Clay Collard via rear naked choke in 31 seconds, would that raise your eyebrows?
Does raise my eyebrows.
Because Derek Minor does, ladies and gentlemen. He does.
Yes, he does.
He's been in there with guys. He's been in there everywhere. He did the LFA thing. He's fought some big names, and he's been built up on the regional circuits, and he's fought tough guys on the regional circuits. And it's Derek Minor is the last guy, FYI, that has beaten Clay Collard in an MMA fight.
It's pretty impressive.
Clay Collard's next fight was against my coach on a steel fist, Lucas Montoya. I fought on the undercard of that fight.
That was a great fight too.
Oh, by the way, yeah, I mean, Clay, he beat Clay Collard, and Clay Collard, we all know he's on a tear and been on a tear, and he's the last guy to hand Clay Collard a loss. He's the only guy to hand him a loss outside of the UFC since Justin Buchholz in 2012. Derek Minor.
Interesting.
You got to be kidding me, dude. Like Derek, he's no joke. I mean, if you can beat Clay Collard, I'm putting money on you every time.
You're on him. You're on the underdog again. And I'm going to go opposite again from you, and I'm going to pick Charles Rosa. I'm not betting it, though. I'm not betting that fight. That's not one that I'm betting on.
I feel like you're doing it to be a jerk.
Maybe.
You're trying to hurt my feelings.
Co-main event, we got Ketlin Vieira and Yana Kunitskaya.
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 For all that time you spent in Japan, I thought you'd be better at pronouncing some of these names.
Kunitskaya.
I guess that's Russian, not Japanese, but
yeah.
Yana Kunitskaya. The thing that I do like about her, she's been in there against Cyborg. I was there in attendance for that fight. I've never seen her more a human being more terrified in their life. Like she knew she was walking to the slaughter.
Oh yeah, that was
bad. She's tough. Her boyfriend, fiance, whatever, is Thiago Santos. They trained together.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's kind of a cool, fun backstory. She looked really good in her last fight. I remember she looked really, really good. This is rescheduled. This fight was supposed to happen a couple times last year, and then she looked really good in her getting the win in that fight. I just think that Ketlin Vieira is just a little too much for her. This is an impressive girl, and you remember Sarge Eubanks? She just fought Sarge, and Sarge was coming off a big win, and everybody thought that Sarge was like, maybe Sarge can get something going, and she shut that down quick.
Yes.
And, she beat Kat Zagano. She choked out Sarah McMahon. She has a win over Ashley Evans Smith, who holds a win over, wait for it, Fallon Fox. If you don't know that name, go look it up. She happens to be the transgender that was a man that transitioned to a female and broke a woman's skull. But then Ashley Evans Smith beat her. So, I mean, she's tough, dude. Ketlin Vieira, she's tough, and I am all over her in this fight. I think it's a good fight. I think it's a competitive fight. I think the minus 275 might be a little much. I don't see her just like full on dominating.
That seems a lot. Yeah, that seems a little high.
But I think she wins. But I think she wins. This is a. You keep saying I'm not betting on this one. This is a stay away from me. I'm not going anywhere near this fight.
I mean, yeah, I'm not going anywhere near this fight, but I'm with you. I'm on Ketlin Vieira. I think she wins the fight. I think it goes.
Even though Vieira did miss weight by 2 pounds.
If you, I like the fight to go to decision. That's about my only. If I was going to, which I'm not. All right, let's talk about the main event. Curtis Blaydes against the Black Beast, Derek Lewis. I've been trying all week, Zach.
I have all these notes.
Plan.
I have all these notes, and I have everything written out for all these fights. And all I wrote was Blaydes.
I tried to come up all week long with a way that
we could get
Lewis's can win this
fight. We could get Derek Lewis on the mic after this fight.
Do you want to know my bet for this fight?
Yes.
Blaydes by submission. Probably. Plus 950.
Really?
Plus 950. It's not. If you think about it, Who submitted?
Cormier.
What other wrestler submitted Derek Lewis?
Daniel Cormier, rear naked choke.
Daniel Cormier, rear naked choke. If you're looking for value, you're getting almost 10-1 odds, and Blaydes is just going to take him down and grind it out.
Oh, he's told everybody that's what he's going to do, and that's exactly what he's going to do.
I like the odds of him. I don't see Derek Lewis getting ground and pounded. I see him kind of doing what he did. He's going to try to get out of it. He's going to roll over on his stomach and he's going to get choked out. That's what I think.
So
I love those odds at plus 950. That is, I'm locking it in right after we get done. I am locking this the hell in.
Pretty confident.
I like it. I think it's a good bet.
Like, I want to take Derek Lewis so bad because I love him. But I love Curtis Blaydes too. I feel like Curtis Blaydes is like the most underrated fighter in the UFC right now. The only person he loses to is Francis twice.
Yeah, and I saw some people trying to compare Derek Lewis to Francis, because he's strong, he's powerful, but he doesn't hit as hard as Ngannou. Even though he's got more knockouts. He's got the most knockouts in heavyweight history. That might be debatable, but I
won't say it's not even just a power thing. It's the speed thing, right?
Yeah, that too.
It's the speed. Does Derek Lewis possess the power to knock out Curtis Blaydes? 1,000%.
100.
Derek Lewis has the power to knock out any human being walking this planet, besides Artem Lobov. But it's the speed that Ngannou can clip you with. His hand speed that is what gets people in trouble. So it's so tough because this is what worries me the most for Derek Lewis is he has been getting in shape. He's known about this fight for a long time. This was scheduled to happen back in November.
Yeah.
And we've known this fight was going to happen since probably about August of last year.
Yep.
So Derek Lewis has been getting ready to fight a wrestler, and he's been doing all this jiu-jitsu, and he's been doing all this takedown defense, and he's a great athlete. Derek Lewis is a great athlete. And I'm sitting there looking at it, but at the end of the day, Curtis Blaydes does this to everybody.
Yeah.
Hey, Alexander Volkov mauled him. Junior Dos Santos, TKO, knees and punches, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Justin Willis, Alistair Overeem abused him. Mark Hunt abused him, beat the crap out of Alexei Oleinik. I mean, he beats up everybody.
I don't like him at minus 450 because Lewis can knock him out. So I'm not laying that chalk on that. If he wins, I like it by submission or KO TKO, but you're getting basically even money on a KO TKO.
You ready for this?
Yeah.
Little tidbit. Did you realize that Curtis Blaydes was once scheduled to fight Eric Eyman at RFA?
Really?
Yeah.
We need to get Eric on here and find out what was up with that.
Well, he ended up fighting Luis Cortez, who I fought. He was the main event on my second fight ever.
Yeah.
The first time I fought Scott Devlin and Luis Cortez got knocked out by Ben Moa that night. But yeah, that was Ben.
Really?
That was Curtis Blaydes' last fight before entering the UFC.
Interesting. Eric Eyman. Yeah, I see that now. Back in 2016.
So there you go.
Two big guys. We need to get Eric on here. Eric would be a good one to get on here.
Eric
has been around, kind of done it all. Yeah, we need to get him on.
Thomas Harper coming on the podcast next week.
You got him scheduled for next week?
Yeah, he just texted me.
Sweet.
He just texted me.
Sweet. Main event for the Steel Fist card. Thomas Harper's fighting Cole Shafer
for an hour and 18 minutes.
Yeah.
But anybody
that main event, you talk about a high level pro main event fight in Utah. Thomas Harper and Cole Shafer.
Well, everybody's been ranting and raving about the huge Fierce card, and
it's great.
The Fierce
for
card,
good reason.
Great. Yep, and it's got all these big names and stuff. But I mean, Thomas Harper, Cole Shafer is as good of a pro fight. You want to talk about these guys are each only one fight into their career. I mean, this is. I really don't even know too much on, what else to say, but these two are like, I think these two have futures that, Steel Fist, they a lot of them, they built most of their careers through Steel Fist, I believe.
Yeah.
And these two are going to represent Utah on a national stage at some point.
I think
I said bigger show. That's not any shade at Stillfish. I'm just talking about national shows like PFL, Bellator, LFA, UFC.
Yeah.
I think that those are all organizations that are in those two fighters' futures, and I just can't be more excited that that's going to be a main event in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Yeah, I don't think the casual fan is going to realize how big of a fight that is. Like, Cole Shafer, right? Like, everybody knows who Cole is locally. Like, he brings the crowd, and he brings the fight, win or lose. You've been in a fight if you're in the cage with Cole. Yeah. But Thomas Harper, he's up there right with him. That's the thing.
Sleep on him, dude.
Yeah, don't sleep on. Yeah,
and I know Cole isn't. I know Cole. They fought before. No. They fought as amateurs, right?
And both of these guys are in shape. I saw Cole like a month ago. He looks phenomenal.
Phenomenal. And Thomas is.
Thomas is. We had him on the podcast last fall. We had him on the podcast. Phenomenal shape because they were supposed to fight then.
Last spring.
This is going to be the card from top to bottom, like always, every Steel Fist card is always good. Has there ever been a night when you're like, oh, this is a shitty card, I don't want to go to the Steel Fist card? They're always good. Always.
I have so many teammates on the card too. Like you
have like 3 or 4, don't you?
Like 5.
Jackson. Really?
Yeah.
I know Jackson. There was the one Cole's on there.
So we got Jackson and we got Cole.
Who's the short, stocky guy? He was there one day when I trained.
Brody Fernelius
Brody's on there.
He's fighting for a title. Cole Faust is fighting for a title. Jackson Randall's fighting for a title. We have our girl Casey Christiansen fighting out of Tooele. Marco Sosateric. He's our Serbian. He's my big long Serbian friend. I mean, he's a monster fighting a dude that's coming up from Extreme Couture. There's 4. Tyler Billings is 5.
Dude, Tyler Billings been up there a couple times. Watch him train. That kid better.
Jesus Avina, that's 6.
He's a big, strong kid too. I keep saying kid. Like, these guys are obviously younger than me. I don't mean kid. You guys are grown men.
We got 6. We're kids to you, bro. You're old. Look at your beard. I've been working on mine. I'm working on mine a little bit.
You don't have any gray though.
I pluck it out.
Yeah, I'm rocking it. Did you give me your official bet for Blaydes, Lewis? I know you like Blaydes, but
that's how I put Blaydes.
Blaydes. You don't have a play submission.
I can see ground and pound. Yeah, I do. I mean, there's a reason why it's plus 900. It's a long shot, but I mean, is it possible? Yeah, well, because I think he ground and pounds him out or submits him. But my hesitation, where I'd say pump the brakes on the submission, the only thing is I feel like Lewis has been working a lot on his jiu-jitsu, and he's not going to just give his neck like the way he did against Daniel Cormier. He said he was embarrassed after that, and I think he was. But
it's the best white belt in Texas, or what did he say? Was it white belt or blue belt?
Got his blue belt. He got his blue belt. I'd love to roll with Derek Lewis.
He's probably just freakishly strong. Like, just because he's just strong.
It's probably like when I roll with Ben Moa. It probably just wouldn't go very well for me.
Yeah.
No, I like all of it. I think Blaydes is just too much.
It's not going to decision. Not going to decision, right?
5 rounds. I would have to imagine. I don't think Derek Lewis's gas tank allows him to go 5 rounds. I just don't.
Not in a short cage too. You got to remember we're in the smaller cage.
We're in the little cage. Yeah. So
I'm excited.
You want You want a Draftkings lineup?
Ooh, Zack is the Draftkings king.
Of course, I have Curtis Blaydes. It's my first pick. And then I have, let's see, Curtis Blaydes. Oh, hold on. It got messed up. Because homeboy missed weight by 1 billion pounds. Uh-oh. Let's see. I have to shift some things around.
Because what's his name's not on there anymore?
Yep. All right. So Curtis Blaydes.
You got Blaydes. I like Blaydes.
I got Sergey Spivak.
Spivak, I like that.
I think those are the two that have the polar bear. And
Okay.
then I'm going, my next one is Rodriguez. I like Rodriguez a lot.
Rodriguez, Draco. Okay. Got you.
Draco Rodriguez. Juicy J, Julian Rosa.
Juicy J.
He's not going to let me down for DraftKings. He's not. He already promised me.
We need to message him and tell him that you're going to give him $100 if he knocks out freaking Nate Landwehr. I'll split it with you. I'll split it with you.
Bet. We got $100 win bonus for you, bro. After he's going to probably make like 20K. Then I got Violent Bob Ross, Luis Pena in there. He's only $7,200. Good
really?
Value. Yeah.
He's a good value. Even though I went the other way on that fight for DraftKings, that is a phenomenal value.
And then Minor is only $7,400 against Rosa. The key with DraftKings is you got to have your two lock favorites. They can't lose. We lost last week because Homeboy got submitted by a blue belt. That killed.
I won my last week. Remember, I changed.
Yeah, because you're a bad friend.
So the guy that I was.
We already talked about this.
I went opposite of the Macy Barber.
I hate you. I hate you so bad.
Sorry, dude. I'm horrible at putting it in because I don't ever play it. I don't play it very much.
Well, neither do I. I just play it on the weekends. This is all I do. I don't mess with DraftKings anymore. Anywhere else? Basketball, yeah, right. But you got to have your two locks, right? And then your other two have to be finishes. You get your two locks that'll win no matter what. And I got Blaydes and Spivak for those two. They're going to win no matter what. Those are my two locks, right? And then you got your other two that you just need to win. And I got that is Rodriguez and Rosa, right? I need those to win. And then we just need Minor and Pena to not get finished and put up points. And if one of those wins, you're going to put up a huge night.
I like it a lot, actually.
And I think they're all extremely live. Pena, I think Pena can win. I think Minor can win. But the biggest thing is I don't think they get finished.
Yeah.
So even if they don't win, it goes 3 rounds and they accumulate points.
Yeah. I like it. I actually like it a lot.
So save your lineup.
Save your lineup. Zach is good at this. I hope you guys are listening because Zach usually wins on this.
I'm like 8 out of my last 10. Folks. Yeah. Last week was not a good week.
The one weekend I don't listen to you, I win. Sorry.
Yeah,
it was last minute.
Oh my gosh, hour and a half podcast on a Friday afternoon.
We had a lot of fights, man. We had a lot of fights.
A lot of fun. Hey, I'm just gonna I'm gonna say it. So Governor Cox came out here in Utah and is pumping the brakes on passing the bill for eliminating transgenders to be able to compete in like school program sports.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to be insensitive because I have friends that have life partners that are married to,
likewise.
And I mean, it's sad. And I do. And Cox said, listening to these people, these kids are just trying to live and stay alive and all this stuff. And I understand depression and the mental part of it. And I empathize with all of that.
Yeah.
It does not eliminate a level playing field, though. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. They're and you know what I'm for? Create some sport. If there's enough interest in sports for them, for these girls to play, right? These young men that have transitioned to young women or whatever, and to play, and they can compete against each other.
Yeah,
let them. Like I'm not trying to say they can't play sports. I'm not trying to take away their whatever. But you have to talk about the safety of some of these girls, the girls that they're competing with.
Yeah.
Right. That's a real concern. And here's the other sad thing. And this is what hurts their cause is there's some people that are genuine and then there's some people that abuse it.
Yeah.
I posted a story about like the guy that's in his like 40s or 50s that's playing like women's college community basketball. It's ridiculous. He's 6'8", 220 pounds just because he has a ponytail. Like it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So, I mean,
where are the parents in this? Like, I know I'm not talking about of the guy, but where's the parents on the other team? Or if my daughter's playing a sport and there's a grown man playing with her, like
but that's not the other thing. I mean, a lot of but it was like, I think it was Texas, right? That there was the girl that was there was the girl that used to be a boy that won the state championship in wrestling.
Oh yeah, I think it was
all
Texas.
The other girls.
Yeah,
all the other girls.
So.
It was like, no kidding. No kidding. Like their genetic makeup is different.
Yeah, I don't know what the argument is. I really don't. I guess I don't understand it enough. Maybe I need to.
I went back and forth. I went back and forth like a dummy on KSL.
You got reeled in, didn't you?
My wife got mad at me because I get reeled in. But
you're usually the one telling me stop it.
But it was ridiculous, and she's citing all these things. And in fact, there was a female semi-pro cyclist that got on there and said transgender girls have ruined women's cycling because a lot of them are men that are depressed because they'll never be good enough as men. So they've switched over and identified to females, grew out their hair, did whatever, and now they're winning. And now naturally born females don't have a shot. That's not fair. That's not right.
Crazy times.
When you're talking about competition, it's just, I would love for somebody to sit down and come and have a conversation with us on the other side of this to explain to me fair, right, wrong, anatomy, science, educate me a little bit on it. Because I try really hard to see both sides on things.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm listed as an independent. I try really hard to look at things from both sides and be sensitive and empathetic and sympathetic. This is just one I can't see that side on when it comes to sports. And I am all for everybody pursuing happiness in any way that they would like. I don't care. Do whatever you want to be happy. If that's what's going to make you happy, you do you, right?
Maybe somebody listening will know somebody. I mean, I have a few friends that may know somebody. Doesn't have to be in fighting. If they're in sports, yeah, come talk to us.
And you have to understand like the effect that, right? They're playing against somebody that has a bad game, and it's like, you're affecting other people's college potential and scholarships, and it's
this all started with the participation trophies. Do you see the cycle here of everybody's right? There's, hey, you get a trophy, you get a trophy, you get a trophy. It's like, man, we have to have some lines that we just don't cross. I won't dig into that any much. I'll probably keep my mouth shut since I don't know very much about it.
That's probably a good way to put it. But
yeah.
All right, folks. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the LFA fights. Jason told you. Nate Smith tonight on LFA. He's going to win.
I like it. I already locked it in. I'm taking him minus 160. I like him. I think he gets it done. All right. See you guys on next week on Monday. We out.